Have you seen the first images of the Lord of the Rings TV show? I saw a little bit about it. People were like arguing about it or something. Here's what I've said before about the Lord of the Rings TV show. Is that, oh no, I think the show looks good. Oh shit, look at it. I hope it's good. All right, we'll look at it. And this should be good. Holy shit, this is so bright. So, just like in general, this one's on us? Great, then get the fuck out of here. Alright, so let's look at this here. Ring of Power is less financial risk, reputational one. Amazon needs to definitively make the case it can produce giant prestige shows. Even with this series, it's creating additional danger of amending and elaborating on the canon of a beloved storyteller. Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I'm not going to read the whole article, right? I mean, that's not going to happen. I'm just going to scroll down. Okay, so these are just like the general different people in the Lord of the Rings. I guess that is too. Okay. Who the fuck is that? Half-elf Elrond is a politically ambitious leader. Brewen with a forbidden love, Arandir, in the village of Tri-Harad? Okay. I don't know what that says. It does sound like try hard, though. It does. I know. I think that there are a lot of people like me. Like, this is my main concern. Is that the races of the characters don't really matter that much to me. But if they're willing to change one thing, what else are they willing to change? And what my main concern is that if they want to take artistic liberties with some things, does this mean, because this is what my concern is, like I've said this before with Lord of the Rings, and this is what I think, is that I'm mainly concerned that they're going to try to turn Lord of the Rings into Game of Thrones light. They're trying to add in unnecessary, like this one right here. This is with her forbidden love between like two things. Like this is, I don't even know if this is part. I don't remember seeing either of these characters' names in the Tolkien universe at all. This kind of stuff, and they're adding this kind of stuff into the story in order to appeal to a wide audience. And I don't think that's what the essence of Lord of the Rings really is. The essence of Lord of the Rings is not morally gray. It is a clear distinction of good and evil and the battle of overcoming evil. That is what the fundamental of the books is. It's what the fundamental of what everything about it is. So whenever you take something and you turn it into, again, Game of Thrones light. And this is not anything against Game of Thrones. I think Game of Thrones is fucking great. But that doesn't mean that I want Lord of the Rings to be Game of Thrones. Sometimes you like steak, sometimes you like ice cream. But whenever Jack in the Box made a milkshake that had bacon bits in it, I thought they lost their fucking mind. So it's not that these two things are one's better than the other. It's that when you put them together, you've made a mistake. And that's basically what my concern is. Now, I can speak for a lot of people, is that what I think a lot of people don't like is that they don't like whenever there is a story that exists and there's already a, what's really the word for this? There's already a precedent of kind of like the characters in the story, and then a new person or a new group of people come in and they make the story again, and they change genders, they change different stuff like that, like races of the characters. And the reason why I think people don't like that is not because of the actual change itself, it's what the change indicates. It's the change that indicates that it removes a certain element of escapism of this person, because whenever they see that change, it makes them think of the fact that this story exists in the context of a certain type of political point of view or a certain type of social point of view. And I think that's basically what it is. Does that make sense? I've heard of Earthsea fantasy lore all about different human races, whereas Lord of the Rings is supposed to be European. Yeah, I don't know if it's... I mean, I think that, like, there's a lot of stories like Lord of the Rings that, like, it's not explicitly European, but it's like, I mean, Tolkien grew up in Europe. it's basically European, right? It's a European in all but name. I think that's what it is. Having black actors not changing anything, what the fuck? Well, but that's what people are saying, though. Like, as I said, I don't really care about that. What I really care about is the fact that I think that they're just going to change the story. They're going to make it like The Hobbit, with unnecessary sex interest, with unnecessary bullshit, probably with nudity, with like gray characters. Like, oh, there are some orcs in Mordor that are actually like good orcs, and you know, like these different. It's just going to be weird, and I don't think that a lot of people who are fans of Lord of the Rings want to see that. Now, are average viewers, like just everyday viewers, are they going to be wanting to watch this? Yeah, sure. Like, I think a lot of people are probably going to watch it. But I think that in terms of something, is this going to be true to form? And will this be fulfilling for somebody who is an avid fan of Lord of the Rings, or, you know, the books, Silmarillion, the movies, whatever? Is it going to be, is it going to be fulfilling for a Tolkien fan? Probably not. Yeah, it's probably not going to. Creators say they're trying to keep it family friendly. It's in the article. I don't really believe that. Yeah, I don't believe that at all. Racist going mask off today. Well, the thing is, like, I don't really, and this is the problem, is that a lot of people have had this concern, especially with like changing, like they changed like Thor's like gender, and like they say like, oh, well, it's not really Thor, it's like another person, and Thor is a title. People have an idea of what Thor is, and whenever you change the gender, it's different, right? And you have these different like little tricks that these people try to pull on people, and people are just not buying it. Like, nobody wants to be patronized like that. People just want to consume content and not have the content used as a vehicle to promote some sort of point of view, some sort of like social perspective. I think that's really what it comes down to most of the time. And I think that's also like why the success of games like, I'm going to take this back to Lost Ark, right? I think that's a big reason why you see the success of games like Lost Ark. It's because you have that game, and that game's not trying to patronize to you. It's not trying to talk down to you. It's not trying to push a overt opinion. It's just trying to put a story out there, and you feel like the story is being told with absolute artistic integrity. And I think that's really what's what it's coming from, right? Is that people want to see the artistic integrity of a story preserved, and that's what it really is. You're assuming a lot in the moment. Why not just wait for it to come out? I've never seen art without a point of view. Well, no, I think it's like, to say that every point of view is the same thing is like kind of weird. Like, there's a lot of art that does not have an overt political point of view, and that is not being used, and it's not a direct reflection of like current political climates. Like, to say that all art is political as if this does not exist on a spectrum is just a way that people who want to put politics into other people's art use in order to rationalize doing it, to make it seem like, oh, well, it's all like this, so it's okay whenever I do it. I think everybody can fucking see that, right? Lost Ark was heavily censored for the West, though. As far as I know, it really wasn't. Like, and this is what I said before. They put a few black people in Lost Ark. I don't have a problem with that because of what I said before. I want to play a character that looks like me. I want to play a big, meaty, brawny, big dude, right? I want to play a guy that looks like I do. And so I think there's plenty of black dudes that want to play a dude that looks like they do. So if they make other options like that and other characters in the game that look like them, I think that's fucking fine. Yeah, true. Well, it's not the way that you look, but it's like your idealized version of how you look. Does that make sense? So it's like, this is like, if I could look a certain way, this is how I would look. And that's the way a lot of people see it. So I don't have a problem with that. It's the same reason I don't think Lost Ark really got censored. They changed like 2 starter outfits. Who gives a fuck? And even with Lost Ark, there were a lot of people on Twitter. Same thing. And this is what I think is very funny about this, is that there are a lot of people on Twitter complaining about Lost Ark and the sexualization of Lost Ark. Have you guys seen this at all? Yeah, but you can't look like that? Let's hit the gym, boy. Yo, chill, bro. Yo, chill, bro. No, I seen a handful of them, right? And every single one complaining about it is just it's a Western game developer, right? These are, and this is the thing, right? Is it's an ideology that's being promoted and pushed by people who are not the actual audience. It's not something that an average person cares about or wants to see. The average person does not worry about this. They don't think about, oh my God, this character's wearing high heels. This is not an issue. This is not a concern for an average, video game player. And I think to the extent that people make it a concern, an average video game player is frustrated about it. So you see this happening over and over and over, and I think that it's a big reason why you see manga becoming much more popular. It's a big reason why you see games like Final Fantasy becoming a lot more popular, games like Lost Ark becoming a lot more popular. It's because those games don't have these overt, like, social things in the game that are like just one-dimensional caricatures of different political positions that the developers disagree with. Does that make sense? It's not patronizing. Like, nobody wants to be talked down to. Nobody wants to be, they don't want to have people like some weird developer. It's the same thing like whenever I've done this a lot, and I've tried to kind of cut down on it, where I will say obvious things in a way that I think a lot of people are like, they get annoyed by or they don't want to see. Representation is important in media. A lot of people care about it. I think a lot of people do care about it, absolutely. But whenever I see people posting about it, it's almost always the people that are pushing it and not the people that are just like an average audience person. I think average audiences just want to see a movie, and it's like that's not something that is on the spectrum of being a good movie or a bad movie. Like, there can be a great movie with a lot of representation, and it can be a bad movie with no representation, and vice versa. This is not something that exists on the spectrum of people really developing an opinion about a movie. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's a very small amount of people, I would say. And representation is also not preaching or using the game to be a vehicle to present some point of view. I personally love sexualized character. It's a fantasy game where elf and human tits are bigger than your torso. Yeah, I think that's great too. I really do. I think it's one of the best things about the game. So that's the way it looks at it. And and the thing is that whenever you have games that provide that, like Lost Ark or like Final Fantasy or like a lot of these other booba games that people are playing now and are becoming more popular, like Genshin Impact is another one, people can just say, no, I'm not going to play these games where you're trying to repress sexuality and, change these things and, be weird about stuff. And then simultaneously people at your company are getting, fired for sexual harassment. Like, I don't want to deal with this. Like, it's weird because an average person just wants to have a form of escapism, and they don't want to be patronized by a developer in California. It's just not, or an actor that lives in Hollywood. It's just not the case. And for that matter, not a streamer who lives at their mom's house. They don't want to be patronized. And that's why I don't do that as much anymore, is because I know that is I know that is something that's a turnoff to people, and I try not to do that as much anymore. Absolutely. Guess what? It's a fantasy game. Yeah, exactly. Most people that complain about those games don't even play them. Yeah, exactly, man. Is the game broken or something? Yeah, it is offline for now. Bad fucking take? Well, it's obviously not, because if it was, you present a counter argument. Yeah, you present a counter argument. Yeah, the fact is that most of the people that are saying this and are like mad at me for saying this, there's no actual argument against it, because I'm not even arguing. I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Like, I'll just play a game. Like, this is the best example I can use, okay? If this is my perspective on this, and I'll show you how it doesn't matter. Apex Legends released with all, minority or POC characters, except for one white male, and his name and his ability was being toxic. And you know what? I fucking loved it. It was an amazing game. It was the best fucking game. It was so, so good. And the fact is that you guys probably did. Yeah, Caustic. Exactly. It doesn't matter to me. I don't give a fuck. I just want to play a good game. That's the only thing that matters to me. Can I ask Rabbit Hole Asmon? Next topic. Why? Why am I not supposed to talk about this? I think there's a lot of people who want to hear what I'm saying. Yeah, there's just, it's weird that people don't want me to talk about this and everything like that. I'll make sure that one thing is clear. If I want to talk about something, then we're talking about it. That's all there is to it. So yeah. Anyway, the point that I'm making here is that I feel like a lot of this stuff, it is alienating for more and more people, and that's why people are moving over to these other games. I think this will continue happening, and it will become ever more the case. That's really what I'm trying to say. Are we talking about this? Most people shy away? Yeah, because most people are afraid. The thing is that a lot of people, here's just the truth, is that I talk about issues like this a lot, and because I talk about issues like this a lot, I am used to doing it, and I know what to say. So I'm not afraid to really, I'm not supposed to talk about this or whatever, because I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I know what to say, I know what I'm talking about, and it's not a big deal. Like, there are some people that communicate badly, and it's harder for them to articulate the way that they feel about stuff, and I think that's the case, yeah, definitely. But that's why they probably don't talk about it. I mean, I think that, the best example recently was Quinn, right? Quinn, made some comment about, like, it's like something about women, I don't remember what it was, and, like, people went apeshit about it, and it's like, the main thing that a lot of people like that are bad at is communicating. It's that you are not able to communicate your point of view in a way that's understandable and harder to be taken out of context. Does that make sense? People tell you shut up, it's because you're making sense, unless you're Quinn. Well, I think that most of the times people tell me not to talk about something because they either think it's going to get me in trouble, or they disagree with what I'm saying, and they're sick of hearing something that they disagree with. That's what I generally expect. And there's also some people who just don't care about it. I mean, of course that's the case too. I'm not saying that's all it is to it. Okay, let me look over here. Just pick that games sexualize only women. This is bad, and you can't argue with that. Well, the fact is that the reason why a lot of the games only sexualize women is that they're played primarily by men. It's literally that simple. They're played primarily by men, and then obviously, what are they making? Well, they're making hot women because guys play the game. That's it. It's tailored towards an audience, and that's the audience. In my opinion, I agree. You want to know what, like, this is, in my opinion, I want to have a character that looks like Conan the Barbarian, wearing a loincloth and maybe like a strap across his chest. He's got a big hairy fucking chest. He looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's got a gigantic fucking greatsword. Okay, so I'm totally fucking on board with that, and that is the peak Asmongold fantasy. However, there's a lot of guys that probably just want to see hot girls with big ass titties, and that's why you have a lot of games with hot girls with big ass titties. And also, like, I mean, with Lost Ark, there's a lot of sexualized guys. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, my guy is a Giga Chad. Shut the fuck up. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, my guy is such a fucking Giga Chad. Absolutely. I don't see video games making neckbeard characters. They also sexualize men too. Yeah, nobody wants it. Like, yeah, who the fuck is gonna go around and, oh yeah, this is my character. He's a 35-year-old man who wears a fedora. He's got a neckbeard. He's wearing cargo pants and flip-flops. Man. No. Like, yeah, you're playing like this gigantic fucking, Mr. Olympia bodybuilder with like a giant sword and shield that you couldn't even pick up in real life. Yeah, that's what it really is. I would say so. Do it exist? It's sexual? Yeah, I think that, like, absolutely, guys like hot girls as well? Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So let's go back over. We're going to look at the other stuff. I know this is kind of like a hot topic and people get, like, mad about this kind of stuff. There's no reason to get mad. It doesn't matter. Just keep that in mind. It doesn't matter. And no matter what you say or do or talk about or anything like that, it won't really affect you, or it won't affect anything else. And it won't make a difference.